We're gonna find out exactly what he does. And today my co-host came here because he had a movie in tomorrow for the show, so make sure y'all tune in. So, Cruz.
I love it further was once I heard myself on record and I said, man, that sounds kind of good. Let me keep at this, you know. So that was like a bigger picture of that.
So what is the message that you're trying to put out through your music?
Yeah, so my message is best represented now as a flag, which is equivocal to a brand. So, you know, obviously growing up to Mobb Deep, you know what I was spitting when I was a teenager, right? Obvious. Then I went into a phase where when I moved with my pops, junior high school, the first time I moved with him, actually, let's backtrack. I was in 7th grade. I was getting into a lot of trouble. And I brought all my rhymes and I was mean. He was like, you know, shave your face, grow your hair out, tuck your shirt in, wear penny loafers, right? He threw away all my rhymes, all my CDs, and he's like, you're not doing it. But then I did something stupid. I won't even really go into it, but I got kicked out of the main school system. I could never go back there. I went back home, which is what I wanted. 2 years went by, same thing. My pops moved to New Hampshire. I moved out with him, and he said, you can do your music, but you can't swear. So I was like, okay, that's cool. And I started getting poetic. And at that time, Blackstar was on, Talib Kweli, Train of Thought, and I was like, man, comedy, you know. I got into that conscientious hip hop. And years later, in 2015, I started doing like personal development rap. And I lived with my man Lenny, the magician from Boston, and started doing some artist development. And he said, what's your monetary projection? Where do you want to go? And I was like, I want to make millions, you know. Like, if I'm going to do this, I want to go all the way. And he's like, all right, so I'm going to start doing A, B, C, D, which was current and being relative. And I did that, but the most important thing was finding self. And saying, what do I want to paint to the people? And it wasn't until my daughter was born 3 years ago that I said, what she's hearing is what I want to be proud of and other parents to be proud of. So my message is, if you picture a flagpole, that's your flag. The feet of that flag is family, God, you know what I mean, the basics, right? The foundation of your life. Right. Higher power thinking is on that post, authenticity is on the top of it, and then master craftsman, because I put in over 10,000 hours of work in this craft, and being a teacher. So that's my flag that I want to represent. Being a teacher, not a preacher, you know, but keeping that hood element that I grew up with, that street mentality, done in such a way where you don't even know I'm not cussing on the record because it's so, you know, you feel it. And that's my philosophy, you know. Keep it hood, keep it relative, adjust and adapt to the times, and always put a positive message into your words. Yeah. And it was actually really post, like when COVID hit, that's when the whole thing really, the paradigm shift happened. When I'm seeing families going through divorces, you know, fathers getting stuck at home, realizing they hate their wife. Right. And I'm thinking about my situation. I love my wife. I love my kid. I was grateful, you know. So that switch really helped me propel myself into where I'm at now as far as my training goes. You know.
Would you say that going through the pandemic gave you more time to focus on who J. Cruz is and work on better projects, or did it affect you more?
So the pandemic opened my eyes, right? I've had really good relationships with producers that I've worked with throughout the past like 15 years, ranging globally, a lot in Europe, and then nationally as well, right? So when I started thinking, I'm like, man, look what I have in my hand. Like, you know, again, kind of going back to that philosophy of realize what you really have. So I started saying to my people, I'm like, yo, let's start making music and do a really solid project with all my in-house producers and put you guys at the forefront of it. And what it did is it created me getting with my man, Professor Lyrical, half pro quo. And he's an educator, UDC, he's a math, he's got his doctorate, he's an incredible human being. Doesn't smoke, doesn't drink, like super clean vegan, right? And I aspired to be that. I like that lifestyle, you know. And we came together when we put together our project, Instant Brotherhood, which features all the artists, the producers producers I was talking about, 15 tracks, and it's all clean, but it's my baby. Like, it's my favorite project that I've done because of the fact of the message, the whole principle of the thing, where it's like, yo, we all equals in this, you know, it's not just Cruz,
Right.
you know, it ain't cocaine, it's like all of us together to make this happen, you know, instant weather is my whole philosophy of that.
Sorry about that.
That's all.
That sounds similar to it. We just talking.
Oh, shout out, by the way, shout out.
Yeah.
Man, thank you for reaching out.
Yeah. Growing up, what would you say were your toughest moments?
So my toughest moment, I had when I was young, I got a few. I was born with like a defect that one day I go, I'm first grade or something like that, and I pissed blood in the toilet. And my grandmother was like, oh no, rush me to the hospital. Finds out that the tubes connected to my kidney and backwards. Had to go through a major surgery. That happened. Then, you know, I had because of that, there was a vein that was strained on one of my kidneys, and I ended up having to have that removed when I was like 16. Messed up my basketball career. I was real good at basketball. It put me out for a long time, and really I honed in on rap. But I'd say those two moments and being constantly pulled away from my family, like my homies and stuff, you know, going back and forth with my mom and pops. The music was the only thing that kept me feeling like, you know, comfort, you know, because, you know, when you get pulled away from your people and you're 2 hours away and you can't even go back, it's like that hurts, you know, and it kind of calloused my soul a little bit. And then I ended up getting married at the age of 19 to a person that had, you know, rapid bipolar. You know, she was not really in her right mind, and I had to walk on eggshell for a lot of my life with that. And it was kind of like being locked up in a prison, you know, for 10 years. So all of that I wouldn't take away one bit because I learned like both sides of the coin, you know.
Right.
And those would be like, say, the toughest moments that made me who I am. But at the end of the day, that's what it is. The toughest moments create you.
Creation.
You know, they really do.
Yeah, makes you more humble too, you know.
Definitely.
Especially
Especially when you don't have an ego. My ego is so minuscule.
Right.
You know, I'm a rapper, but I'm not one of them dudes that I love making records. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a freestyle artist. I write my records. I'm involved with community things like engineer my own stuff. My brother and I, we do our artwork. Like, I like getting my hands involved in everything, you know, for the records. But again, bigger picture is like if you ain't getting paid for your music, what are you doing it for?
Right.
And I asked myself that question. I said, man, what am I doing? And it's to help the youth.
That's right.
You know, it's to help so we don't want to have the violence continue, the drugs to continue, like all these things. Like, we know better now.
Right.
Grown man music to me is the answer when you grow.
That's
You're a
right.
teenager, you're a teenager. But as soon as you get to a grown man status, you better start growing up. You know, but if you don't know, how you gonna know? So it's my responsibility to be taking my skills, presented in such a way where the youth will respect it and listen. You know, so I don't know where that tangent went, but that's what I'm saying.
Well said, well said. That's dope. You know, it's not easy growing up and becoming a man. You know, some of us grow quicker than others. Some still stuck in that world. You know, I know people that are my age. I'm 52 and still hanging with dudes at 20, 19. You feel me? So
Permanent high school state.
right. So you know, it's not easy. Why did you choose music and not, let's say, a firefighter, a doctor, or anything of that sort, or a coach? Why a musician? Why an artist?
You don't have to ask God that, bro. You know how many times I said this rapping is a curse growing up?
You think it?
I hate
a
it.
curse?
Yeah, like, well, when I was younger, I couldn't understand because it was like one of those things that I tried to walk away from a handful of times, you know, and I kept coming back because it's one of those things that, you know, when it hits your soul and it's something that you can't live without, it's in your DNA, it's pumping in your essence, it's always on your mind. You just gotta roll it. And my answer, my history, my great-grandfather was a mandolin maker. You know what I'm saying? Music has been in my blood forever. So to go against that grain is the challenge, because I work for the post office, my dude. I worked at Fidelity prior to that, but I was at 7-Eleven at the gas station working these jobs saying, why do you not pay attention in school? Why? Because I was writing rhymes in the back. And they didn't care.
I think that every artist is gifted, and it's a tool for God to talk about their experiences in life. Due to all that you went through, He's using you as a tool, for the youth. And what are you doing now? You're working for the youth. You're reaching out to the youth. So sometimes we lose focus on the big picture, when it comes to God.
Yeah.
Because I did the same thing, I'm like, God, why am I born? Like, what's my purpose here?
Yeah.
You feel me?
Your why.
Right. It took me years to know what my calling is,
Yeah.
And this is what it is right here.
Absolutely.
You feel me? Giving back to my people,
Yeah.
or opportunities to others that didn't have the opportunities, and even though when I was coming up with music, I didn't have the opportunity. Doors were shut for me, So do that made me a better man. Made me not be selfish, because I was selfish at one point in my life where I thought it had to be me. If it wasn't about me, it was about nothing.
You can't be great without having that experience, I think.
Right. So yeah, so now, I know I'm a tool, that I'm a tool for God, and this is what I need to do, for the younger youth. And in the process of that, bring people like yourself in here to talk about what you do. You know what I'm saying? And maybe help someone out there that's maybe going through what you were going through, and maybe you can show them a way out, how you got over it.
And even if that's one person,
Right.
And we hope that will be more, right? But even if it's that one person, reality is that the bigger picture should have your self-portrait.
Right.
Bottom line, and community is very important, but also understanding that there's a philosophy I have. I don't know where I kind of developed it, but I took a lot of personal development in my life, Jim Rohn, like all these great people. And I have this theory, it's called the redwood theory. And when you take a person, you got the thief, the liar, the good person, the bad person, all these different types of people. And when I bleed from my fingertips, you know what I'm saying? Like I am a, big heart, and I can be taken advantage of easily.
Like what?
You know what I'm saying? So that's a huge thing, but it's a blessing to have that. But what I learned, especially in relationships in my life, is that you cannot change not one person. They gotta change themselves.
That's right.
And what that is that you have the bush, you've got the oak tree, and then you've got the redwood. And the problem is we try to tell that bush, say, yo, be a redwood. Nah, it's not happening, bro. Thief is the thief, the liar is a liar, the good. You cannot do it. They have to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? So all we can do is be redwoods and just go. And the moment you cut all those anchors and you don't let people puppeteer you, you know what I'm saying? Where they control you, because you start talking smack about somebody or whatever. Yo, as soon as you talk smack about that person, they ain't there with you, they pointing the string on you.
That's right.
Why are you doing that? Negativity ceased, positivity enhanced. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, just be a rebel if you are. And I know you, I already know you are, but it's like, those little details of like analogies and stuff is what I want to give as much as I can to give just that one person understand, like, yeah, I get it. It's not about the glitter and the gold and the fortune and fame, and it's about being the best version of yourself. Awesome.
Right.
Period.
Right.
And walk in faith and shake all the pebbles out your sandals.
Okay. What are the most important things in your life at this point in your career in music?
My flag, of course, but recently, the shirt I'm wearing, Bridging the Gap Youth Program. This is Bridging the Gap, BTG Commit Stop the Violence. It's run by Tamara Wills, Virginia, who's a vet in the music industry and marketing, having artists tour and all that stuff. But the philosophy of everything we've been talking about, basically, but really honing in on stop the violence. And how we do that is through what's called STEAM and STEM. And STEAM stands for science, technology, engineering, math. STEM is the same thing except we got the A in it, and that's the arts, which is what I represent, the arts. And this job market is millions and millions of jobs not being filled that are like, as an example, if you're an engineer, you could be doing stuff like submarines and engineering like real stuff and getting paid for what you love to do, bridging that gap, but the youth don't know it. So our responsibility is to let them know, look, there's a way for you to be able to pursue your dreams and happiness and still get paid well for doing it. Because the starving artist thing, that in the drug dealing thing, like, why does that exist? Because they want to be rappers and be like, we know the deal, the regular, cliche. But when you can put a system in place where you can take the youth and almost like a YMCA on steroids kind of thing, have the big brothers thing, yo, you're a rapper, and they feeling you and they're respecting you, and say, yo, get your education, stay in school, and here's how you do it if you like the music. In that lane. We never had that. Yo, you a rap, yo, that's dope. Imagine if you were a rapper professor, like Professor Lurman, this is what he said. He's like, when he goes into TED Talks, well, I'm a rapper that teaches. I'm a professor. He starts with, I'm a rapper that teaches, versus I'm a teacher and I rap. That little switch, man, that's crazy. And he's rapping and teaching math. Boom. And he's getting bags for it, real money for it. And it's like, yo, the more people we can get hip, especially the minorities, right? The hood, the people that really need it. That's our objective. And we're gonna do it by touring and putting together events for young adults that are like, we have this girl, Asia, she's doing an event in Chicago the end of next month. And she did this whole thing herself, bro, going to businesses, getting sponsors to get the event run. The whole family's gonna go there and like talk about music and bridging the gap with local business owners and just educating people. That's the key. So yeah, that's the essence of that.
So, I know you talk about your podcast and stuff. What are some of the things you admire more about podcasting?
Great, I love that question. What I love about it is exactly this. It's almost like, you get to watch a reality TV show in a way that's like, man, like, let's say you don't know how to rap. You put it on, and you're like, man, I like this guy. I like what he's saying. I like his mind, right? Now you just gain the attention of, which is the most important thing. They fall in love with you. Not your music, which we all can do. Everybody raps. What's happening? Everybody raps. We get that. But you can be the worst rapper, make a decent track, be a great person, and people won't buy that record. Because you're a good person. Flip that scale, man, you're a bad person, they probably ain't gonna mess with you, most people. That's what I've come to find. So podcasting to me is just letting people see you as you are, as long as you are authentic. If you're faking it, people won't see it a mile away. And the bigger picture is that by teaming up with other podcasters, again, hiphopcitizen.com, which we run our podcast through, doing like a 24-hour hip-hop bread deal. We got all these podcasters coming on, we got a TV, we're setting ourselves up for the future, which is the future is, this is a reset, bro. This is a hard reset, and we figured it out first, And so podcasting is huge, and I believe that if you are an artist, you need to do it. And all that is, man, is just like, even if you start with a live, do a live every Friday for an hour, right? Start somewhere. Just show your face, show who you are, and then start finding like-minded people that are, sharing the same philosophy as you and build. Relationships, key. Networking, key. You cannot network without having good relationships. And you cannot, I don't think, succeed in life if you're a bad person. You gotta be a good person and network correctly. That's, you know what I'm saying? So, podcasting is huge for artists.
Definitely being humble and straightforward, not cutting any corners. Definitely people, that's actually bigger than the things that you actually are doing, podcasting. If people can see right through you, it's no good, but if you have something that's catching their eye, something that they say, you know what, I can work with this guy, I think that he deserves a chance. People reach out to you and start networking with you.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like my situation now with what I do, and I've only been doing this for like 2 years, and I've gotten so far and met so many great people in the industry that are doing big things, and in a field where I want to be in, which is, filming, the movie industry. And it's like God is putting all these people in my path.
That's right.
I'm not saying that I'm going to work with all of them. I'm not saying, that they're all bad people, but, one of the people that you meet, because not all of them are going to work with you, right?
Right.
They might say you're a good guy, I think you're good, but they might not want to work with you for whatever reason. But there's always going to come someone who, you know what, you got the right look, you got the right swag, I need them in my project. And you're going to get that call.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So, what I've learned through the years, through God, is to be patient, right? Be patient. What's for you is for you. Ain't nobody gonna take that from you because that's already written.
Facts.
You feel me? When you try to do something that's not written, it's when you stop failing because you're sidetracking. You feel me?
Chasing the shiny objects.
Exactly.
You cannot do, like, you doing this because you love it.
Exactly.
It's giving you energy. We do in all honesty, I was doing a podcast to just do something consistently. I was like, I can consistently show up. But you get real good at being you. You know what I'm saying? And that's that be you. Let yourself see you. And if you start seeing yourself and say, I need to change this, I don't like that, that's good. Because you're trying to get better.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So the more that you walk in faith, you stop trying to figure out why it's happening, take it as it comes. Yeah, and don't be trying to you have to work for it, but I don't believe in chasing things. Definitely, that whole thing, man. Just keep showing up, do you, and it will come. And have fun. Have
Fun doing it.
yeah, you know what I mean? If you doing it and you like stressing out, you got ulcers in your stomach, you just don't do it. Like figure something out, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Right. You recently was in a show, a podcast interview you had with Boss Radio. How was that experience?
Oh, was that with Philo?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that was incredible, bro. So my team, I have the way that I structured this, man, is going back to the album. As I was formulating it, I wanted to have a record label that represented us. And, well, me specifically, I tied pro into it, but I met my man LD, who was the owner of Freedom Corner of the Brand out of Mississippi. Mega Evers and Martin Luther King Boulevard Connect. That's a legit place. It's like Freedom Corner. And I fell in love with that title. So it meant something to me. And I met LD, I talked to him on the phone virtually, and we FaceTimed and all that. I was like, bro, I got a question. I want to sign with you. He's like, right? He was like, yeah, sure, right? So we created that relationship and, came together with the whole record label thing. And then through him, we went through Sony Orchard with my man Sin, Low Vision out of Family and Friends Entertainment, and created that partnership through Sony, through LD and Freedom Corner brand, and, essentially just roll with our whole Instant Brotherhood philosophy. But I think I lost track. Say the question again because I'm losing where
The interview you had with.
Yeah. So LD set that up for us because they were tied together. And Philo, man, he was incredible. It was again, a lot of hip hop artists have issues being themselves. And, I'm not talking smack about nobody. I get it. I understand it. You gotta fall in love with yourself, Be comfortable in your own skin. And when you show that to people, they can't help but like you.
Right.
So we had an incredible experience, and he was filming everything we were talking about. So it went well. It went real well.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because, all artists are not the same, right? And some authentic, some ain't. And I like to deal with the truth. I hear music and I listen to the lyrics, kind of describes who the person is a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So when I interview them or talk to them, I say, okay, well, this is what he's saying in his music, but this is not what I'm seeing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So either you're true to the game or you're not true to the game. And people see that, you know what I'm saying? I know that it's entertainment, but we're trying to keep it official.
Bro, copy machines came out in the 80s. So whack, bro. So hey, we had to start with the copy machine, but at some point, bro, that thing is dead.
Yeah.
Because we grow up, and that's all a lot of these older kids need to do is grow up and really think about what you're doing. What are you saying? I've had plenty of conversations with people, and I'm like, man, why are you 40-some years old talking like this, man? I want to save everybody, you know what I mean? But you can't.
Right.
Again, rebel with the bush, man. You a plant, you a piece of grass. I'm sorry, bro. Right? It's hard.
Right.
I still love you, I'm gonna mow you and stuff, but.
That was kind of how I was supposed to get it. That was like 10 jabs. Well, you only see one, but it was like 10 blows at one time. That was good news. So that's another thing I want to ask you about. Your nationality, because you're J. Cruz. Cruz is a Latin last name. So are you Latin? Are you like Latino? Or are you just Italian or mixed? What's up with that?
Yeah, so I'm multi-ethnic, for sure. My core belief is we all come from the same place, we bleed the same color.
That's right.
Melanin deprived or melanin full.
Mm-hmm.
Where you at, where the sun's at, like, you know what I'm saying? But when we talk about, blood tests and all this stuff they got now, my family, so my dad's side comes from Portugal, Azores. I have, my last name is Silva, which is an Amazon name from the Amazon forest, you know what I'm saying? I have Indian blood in me from Canada, I got French, Canadian, Italian, I got a splash of Mongolian in me, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I am human race, man, like I represent that, and my wife, she's from St. Thomas, my daughter is the world, she's the world, black, white, everything.
She's everything.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And to me, like, that's the most precious thing. Because, as we know, racism and what's your color kind of thing. You take the beard off and the hat and all that stuff, grow my hair, I'm a white dude.
Right.
Put the beard on,
It's hard to say, it's hard to tell.
It's
hard to tell. I didn't know. I was like, oh, his name is Cruz. He sounds too white. I'm like, he sounds too white for me. I'm like, where the hell Cruz come from? Because you can look Spanish. You feel, but yeah, passable. And then the name used to be like, yo, Latino, Cruz, that's a Latin Spanish, but
Let me tell you a beautiful, let me tell you about my name evolution. So I started off like, I'm gonna go back just a quote, which was back in like 2001. Exactly.
So you choose the brother,
Yes,
but see, he look more American than you look more Latin. Oh, this is bugged up.
You so
Yeah, man. But some type of mix is going on there, like, let's call it a mixtape. Mixtape,
man. So my name evolution was quote, then I went to quote Kane for a long time, and J. Cruz became my name because Cruz is my middle name, his middle name, my kid's middle name, all his kids' middle name, my father's middle name, his father, Cruz is the line, bro.
Wow.
Yeah, so Cruz goes deep. And to me, I said, you know what, I almost dropped cocaine. Cocaine came back into existence because of Pro. Pro Quo was catching me. And that's why it's Pro Quo. But J. Cruz is like my real, like, that's me, man. J. Cruz is me. Because that represents my family forever.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's dope. That's dope. So, we're gonna go into some of your music right quick.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I was listening to some of your stuff and, you know, you can kind of like tell me about the song As We Go.
Mm-hmm.
Give me 1 second.
Hey, man, I'm having that fun.
Yeah, you're the Don Big Show, baby. You gotta have fun, man. This is what it is. Yeah, if you ain't having fun, you ain't at the Don Big Show, you feel me?
Yeah, there's a problem. There's a problem.
Yeah, facts. So, you know, we gonna listen to this real quick.
Yeah.
I like it when my computer does this.
Shout out to all my people. We sharing this. But don't everybody like that.
Okay, so that song is called Stereotype, featuring D Right Way.
Yes.
Tell me about that song.
So it's the third song on the Pro Pole album, Instant Brotherhood, which you can get on all streaming platforms. And that is produced by D Right Way, and he features on it. So it's real cool that he was doing that. D Right Way from Chicago. We've known each other for about 4 or 5 years. I met him through my producer in the Netherlands, who's on production on here, Mitch Drix. Actually, no, I'm sorry, Las Vegas out of Amsterdam. And he hit me with the beat, and that was the title, Stereotype. So I took it into that mantra of like, you know, the intro line. I was like, yo, we ain't selling coke. There's no powder sniff. I got, you know, I'm white skin, there's a privilege to it, but, you know, we're above and beyond that. You know, so the stereotypical rapper is kind of where I went with my bars on that. You know, what you think is not what it is. Don't judge the book by its cover.
That's right.
So that's kind of where my whole philosophy went. At the end, you rocking with a king. You know what I mean? Like we should all be living like kings and queens, and that's the icing on the cake. You know, you thought you had this drug dealing rapper, didn't know you dealing with a king, bro. Just because you see the appearance.
Right.
So that's where my verse went with that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. This is called Final. This one's called Final Fire. Featuring Ian Perkins.
Difference between us is deep as a new genius. Right. Yeah. Educated.
Tell me about this song.
Yeah, this one I love. That
Final
one.
intro.
The intro to the album. And, you know, to me, that's hip hop. Like, you know what I'm saying? Real hip hop. My man Larcy out of the Netherlands or Amsterdam hit me with it. And I wanted to do like a caveman kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, we're writing on the walls. Like, this is like the essence of hip hop. You know, the lyricism, the punchlines, and kind of keeping that fire mentality to it and spitting bars, you know? And we kept with that theme, and what was beautiful was P.S. Perkins, who's an educated word pro. She spit the spoken word at the end, which is she calls it King. And it's a poem about basically, you know, being trapped in an environment when you're a king and you don't know it, you know? And I love it, you know, so people definitely listen to that. And it leads into Freedom Corner, which is essentially the Martin Luther King, Medgar Evers Boulevard thing. So the one thing about the album too, people, is that when you go to it, please do me a favor and take 52 minutes of your time. Have a full course meal with us.
You can tell them that's your camera.
Make sure y'all have a full course and eat with us. You cannot just play 1, 2 songs. You need to take 1 hour of your time, sit down, listen to the whole thing. There was over 200 playlists for this album, 15 songs. The math behind it is crazy, like how many playlists you could have. But we went through about 200 playlists to get this thing going. It's a story. You know, you really get to learn about who I am and who Pro is and our people, and you know, we weren't thinking commercial with it. We were thinking like, what do we love doing? You know, we have like a trap beat in there here and there. We got a lot of acoustic, like the second track, my man, legendary hand played. You know what I'm saying? It's all like, you know, beautifully orchestrated music from my in-house team. I got over like 25 in-house producers. You know. But our next projects are going to be, I mean, we're going to sit on this for a while, but we're going to be rapping a lot over EDM style trap beats and, you know, acoustic and just outside the box, like pop stuff.
Yeah,
But still keeping that rugged. I can't change who I am. I'm not going to stay beat, but I like getting pushed.
Right.
You know, this album is easy for me.
Right.
All them verses, 20, 30 minutes, bro. Like, every song that you hear in this was written and recorded almost the same as her. You know what I mean? So, I write it, my mic set up, record it, sign, sale, deliver. You know what I mean?
Right.
And this next set, I want to put a little more work into it as far as like, you know, structure and all that. But bottom line is, this is my baby. You know, and yeah, I enjoy making it for sure.
So, what do you prefer more when it comes to beat? Trap music, just regular hip hop? What do you like most to rap on? The trap music or the hip hop beats?
So, just like fine wine, and taste buds changing. Right now, I'm loving this trap 808 heavy. Really, a lot of changes and drops. You know, that's like sonically what I like to hear, some danceable stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I love my woman, my queen, man. Shout to you, Shannon. I show her, and if she ain't dancing or moving with it, I'm like, I ain't touching it. You know what I'm saying?
Better say that right there.
That's how I move, you know. But personally, yeah, I love trap, man. I really do. I can't, you know, don't get me wrong, like my golden era music is what made me. But I prefer right now to go there. You know, and again, each one, the taste buds will change. I'm sure 10 years from now it'll be something different.
Right.
But yeah, definitely doing some of the 808s. You know, I got some crazy beats from my producers, man. Shout out to Major League Beats, Josh Minor, legendary. The list is long, but they're stepping their game up because, like I said, this is the blueprint now, boys.
Right.
You know, we got our hip hop, baby. Let's move on to the next level now. It's all day.
Won't you think the reggaeton beat will be a challenge?
Yeah, definitely. And it's funny because with reggaeton and like Afro pop, or you know, I have just recently amassed like hundreds of African artists that have been coming to my circle, like, you know, I'm trying to work with. So I really, if I can fit in and do it, definitely I'm down for that. I would love to do that. But that's the thing, I want to push my boundaries.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, anything danceable, man. Because the reality is, I'm not in this for the money, but I'll tell you what, I want to be full time doing this.
Right.
So to do this full time, you got to play the game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and there's a couple games within the game. You got 21. You got what's that game you play? You copy in basketball. You copy. What is that? Like you do the layup and you got to do it the same way.
21.
12, okay, 21. So you got horse. There you go.
Okay, horse.
So you got 21. You got horse. You got scrimmage. You got the real deal. Like there's different games, but the full court, that's like the real game if you want to be in the pros, right? So you have to adjust to the formulas and never lose your authenticity, but push yourself. You know, step outside your box. A lot of these people that be making this golden era hip hop still, I kind of have a problem with it because it's already been done, man. You know, evolve. The Lamborghini is the Lamborghini now because it evolved. You know what I'm saying? You cannot have the same body style since the 80s now. Like you can't. That's vintage. But that's been done. Let's evolve. You know what I mean? And be open-minded. Stop hating on the youth. Bro, they winning.
Yeah.
Learn something. Respect that. You know what I mean? Now, I do have a problem, you know, if they don't respect where they came from as far as the music goes. A little bit, you know? But at the same time, as us being adults and we're the wise ones, let's be wise and say, yo, these kids is killing it. Right?
Yeah, and we gotta recognize that times changing, man. You know, and it goes back to what I told you earlier. You know, when I was doing music, I'm 52 now. It's okay because music is never old for anybody. I don't think music has an age.
Right.
But when you're doing a certain type of music, I think, you know, age does matter. Like, for rap, like, for me, but this is my opinion, I'm 52, what I look like, you know, on the stage, you know, spitting bars, you know what I'm saying? I can't see myself doing that. You feel me? That's why we got different avenues where we can, that's my comedian, go and do different things. So I chose to do this, the podcasting, you know, because I feel like, yeah, I can get 60s to do the podcast. You know what I'm saying? I feel comfortable doing it. You know,
Right.
where people are even going to judge me, not that I care, but, you know, people are damn, like, you're almost 60, you still rapping. Like, you know what I mean? Like, no, you know. So I think the youth, is their time to shine, and we should just be role models to them. But you're right, they need to respect where hip hop came from, you know what I'm saying? And know that we are the creators of it.
Yeah.
You know,
Facts.
they learn from us. We are the creators of hip hop. So at least respect that part.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Definitely
And,
respect
and learn from it because we were there before they are. You know.
Well, I'll tell you, man, yeah, I mean, from my, you know, like with this album, Instant Brotherhood, like, it sounds very close to a golden era classic to me.
Right.
And the difference is that the flow is advanced. The bars are advanced, like in my head, you know. And I hear what you're saying too about being an MC, like Nate said it at one point. He's like, yo, you know, it's a young man's sport, blah, blah, blah. And that is accurate. But now what I'm seeing is there's a lane for the grown man music.
Right.
You know, it's like
Yes.
new lanes and new evolutions occur where, hey, if I'm gonna be, I can see myself rapping at 70 as long as I'm saying the right things and I'm cool. You know what I mean?
Right.
You evolve with the culture.
Right.
And not trying to like fight it. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
not trying to fight it.
But I think if you're trying to compete with the youth, you have to get on that level because, you know, they're living that. They're living that as they're growing up. We're not living that no more, you know. So I can't see me spitting bars at their level when I no longer live that life. You know what I mean? I can talk about what I used to, but when you're living it, man, and you living it, it's a different, for me, it's a different racket because they live the life. You know, I had a lot of stuff they bang and they give me money. That's what they doing. So it's more realistic, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Than me saying, well, you know, I used to do this, that's the past. You talk about
What you used to.
you know, so if I talk about what I'm doing now, it might be boring to them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the youth is what's popping now. So they may not want to hear my bars because they're like, you know what? I hear you, but you play out. This is what I'm living.
I
This
can't
is
relate to
right. I can't. This is what I'm living right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm mindful this, so I'm feeling a little scrappy. You know, a little woozy. You know, Lil Wayne, whatever. Like even Lil Wayne is an example. Like he was popping when he came out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not that he ain't popping now, but I don't see him popping. I see like little boozy, little Wayne. I mean, little scrappy. Those dudes right now is like popping.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, the youth, at the end of the day, the youth are, you know, they deserve the crowns that they have when it comes to just like the mentality of strictly doing the music. So I could never, like, that's what I'm saying, like, there's gotta be more than just the music at my age, you know, I'm 38, so
right.
I can't be competing against the youth at that game when it's strictly that.
Right.
But what the youth don't have is wisdom, right?
Right.
So when you can still that's what I'm saying. It's a different lane. Like I'm making music for myself and my daughter. I'm now with the Bridging the Gap thing. I'm doing a project with them where I have my man JT Beats or Beats by JT. Yo, he's 14 years old. He handed on Trizzy Tracks. He's like Trizzy Tracks protege. Hand playing these beats on the MPC. He made the beat. I got a 19-year-old MC out of VA jumping on the record with me. And this dude that shuts down the R&B sector crazy, J. Cole music, he's gonna be on it. And, you know, unity, let's involve you. Let's start doing features with them, you know what I mean? And grow together. And my biggest philosophy is making clean music as an adult. You know, people, don't get me wrong, I love everything else. I'm a bump on that other stuff, but for me, I wanna make sure that I stay true to myself and make that clean music, conscientious, extra effort in the thoughts, instead of just throwing that cuss word in there, you know what I mean? Like it's like lazy, you know, like there could be something better. I want my grandma to be on this. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like that kind of like Rock King mentality.
Yeah.
And my man, hit me up right now. But you know, to each his own, really, to each his own. You know, but unity is huge. We all need to unify, especially in this area, Massachusetts area, New England area. Like unity, man. We like-minded individuals need to start coming together and hit up Donna to get on the show.
Yeah, definitely, you know, Boston, we need to unite, man. We always had this thing everywhere we go out of state, man. Nobody like Boston cats, you know. And I've been not everywhere, but I've been to a lot of spots, statewide and out of state. We got a bad rap, and you know, so we need to, you know, we need to go out there and let them know that, you know, you can come to Boston, you can collaborate with us, we good, you know, because there's a lot of artists out here that got bars, man. You know, there's a lot of good artists out here, but a lot of artists from out of town want to come in, you know, because we got that rap, you know, but that needs to.
Shout out to DNA for that 50-50.
Yeah.
We had them on the show with all his boys and stuff like that. You know, like that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And you know, I never really fully understood it either until I moved to VA. And I was in Chesapeake and Norfolk for like 3 years. And once I found Southern hospitality, bro, it was fucking crazy. When I started driving on the highway, the 4-lane highway, and the dude in the fast lane going like 45, and I noticed I'm aggravated as hell, but yet everyone I'm looking at that's driving with me is like, cool. I'm like, I got a problem, man. Just chill.
Right.
You know what I mean? But that's the Boston, New York mentality. You gotta ice grill you, hate on you before we practice smart.
Right.
And say what's up.
Right, you know, we live that life. We live the fast lane, we call it. You know, and growing up in New York and Boston, I said New York and Boston so similar. Only New York is bigger, you know, bigger boroughs, but you know, it ain't nothing different. You know, ain't nothing different from New York and Boston. The boroughs are the same. The only thing Boston has been a little bit more, I would say, a little cleaner. my name, you know, from New York, but other than like the style and everything's the same, you know, and and I get it, you know, we have to change our ways, because not everywhere you go, man, people want to hurt you, people trying to stick you up, or people want to take what you want. It's not like that everywhere, you know. And you know, when you get brought up in these type of cities, man, you always gotta keep your head up. You know, so when you move somewhere, like you said, Virginia, where it's slower down south, you know, they hit, but they ain't hit like we are. They ain't hit like city, because whatever they saw, we already seen it 10 times.
Yeah.
So we ahead of the game.
Yeah.
But we need to, you know, turn it down a little bit, man. But other than that, man, what else would you like the people to know before we log out, man?
Yeah, so, again, make sure everybody that I know hits up, you know, Vic. You can also check us out on the Pro Quote Show. You can go to tinyurl.com/theproquoteshow and catch me at JCJAYCRUZ on all platforms. Connect with me and, you know, let's talk. And yeah, just want to give love to all my team and all my people that ride with me. And, you know, everybody that made this happen, of course, I guess, Luchu third time. But yeah, man, yeah, check out the CD. It's the Brotherhood, man. It's, again, available on all platforms. The link, just go to my IG.
Yes, go to his IG, man. Get the info there, man. He can't remember right now what he got.
It's like Orto, whatever. But yeah, share it, tell people about it. I appreciate it.
Okay, so before we log out, what times do you run your podcast so that people know what time to log in?
Yeah, so Monday through Friday, 9 night, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, consistently through hiphopcitizen.com, and that goes on YouTube, Facebook, and all the, you know, Twitch. I want to say LinkedIn and all that stuff.
Okay, cool.
We you know, I'm not. I write rhymes. You know what I'm saying?
But you want to keep the freestyle before we go?
We're kind of like a freestyle.
You need a beat or something, man.
I could do it like.
All right.
Yeah, I think, like I said, I'm a little different than most other MCs. Like, I memorize my stuff at the shows, but I write so much that I just want to kick this little bit of this.
Okay.
So, I'm but a boat atop the ocean of this knowledge, but I move so deep, you think I study with astrologers. Now that's a good guess, STEM doctors in the comments. All for all the strength, I was talking in the conference. East and west tide, south central, big binoculars. Visionary, check you at your posture. Now I'm with your pastor. I don't want to see you slump, we ain't jumping to those chapters. It's God rap, I've been culminating trappers. God smack if you ain't vibing with my actions. Karma on a boomerang, train you off the rafters. Take a seat with bench players, focus solely on their ratchets. Passing peace pipes with chiefs, cherishing our habits. Spending time with activists, I ain't boasting with the braggers. I'ma smile until I'm ashes. Raising prices for these caskets. Keep it high demand, shrinking violence, cut the average. The adjunct, the funk, real talk, got a master's. Flunked out of school, but chemistry was always practice. I made pieces move, put it all together on the glue. Thought you knew.
I like that. Boss, kid. Don't have to bring you in here with like Kelly, Sean Trap, Wes Mack, those guys are fire. You know, I give everybody an opportunity to come in here, but you know, I try to bring the best of the best, you know, into the studio, you know, and give them opportunities to meet each other, you know, work with each other, because, you know, that's the only way we're gonna make great music.
Next summer, we're gonna have a big barbecue, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the idea. Everybody together, barbecue, good time.
You know what's funny? My birthday is September, and I'm planning on bringing in some artists, you know, for my birthday, you know, my birthday bash and stuff, and have them perform and kind of bring everybody I know in so that everybody can meet each other and collaborate, you know what I'm saying, and see if they can put things together. So I'm gonna try to bring out a lot of rappers out, R&B singers, you know, as well. So, you know, if you're around, man, So I want to thank you for coming on the show, bro. And your brother for coming in as well. We're gonna check up on you, in a couple months, see where you at, what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? I want to congratulate you on your career and what you're doing. And yeah, we'll definitely bring you back on the show. Hopefully my co-host be here and you can meet him, his crazy ass. I love it. Yeah, I love it. That's my man. So yeah, man. So thank you for coming, man. And anything else you want to tell the
Peace, man. Cruz. J. Cole can't cruise. Look me up.